It's the Matt Kollock Show. It's the Matt Kollock Show.
Well, hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Matt Kollock Show. It's our first lost numbered episode. And of course, as you know, I'm sure you know that the lost numbers are 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42. You add them all up, it's 108. 108, a minute and 8 seconds is the length of the Matt Kollock Show theme song. Obviously shorter today. I'm talking over what would be the tail end of the theme song. Today's guest, friends, is the wonderful, amazing, and talented, enchanting Kira Holt. She is another local singer-songwriter here in Albuquerque. Different, again, than the other guests I've had on. Different from me, certainly different from Melissa Rios, different from Jason and Melissa of Mary Dean. Kira she just embodies music. She came from a musical family. She got hit on both sides from both parents in different ways with music. And she just, she's got the music in her. And she's got this whole kind of cool vibe about her that's completely synergistic. Everything she does kind of fits with everything else that she does. And she's a super cool human being to boot. Kira is just now starting to put her recorded music out into the world. She's been performing around Albuquerque and stuff for quite some time. She is definitely an established performer on the scene here, but she is just now recording and releasing music, which is very exciting. She's got an acoustic EP, just a handful of songs coming out soon that will be available wherever you get music. Today on the podcast, I'm lucky enough to have 2 of the songs from Kira's debut release. Before we get into the interview itself, I'm going to play the song Turn It Off. And then after the interview concludes, you're going to get to hear her song Yellow Skies. One of the things I asked about, you'll hear it right away, so not really a spoiler, but ask Kira as I plan to ask all my guests, what have you been noticing lately? She said she's been noticing the color yellow. So one of her songs is also called Gold Flakes, which is sort of yellow adjacent, right? But that was really interesting. There was some definitely notable yellow splashes in the room that day when we recorded. My phone is yellow. And yeah, she's right. There is a lot of yellow around, isn't there? That is a color that's coming up. So we're going to hear, as I said, Turn It Off before the interview, and then Yellow Skies after the interview. These are classic Kira Holt songs that it's only a matter of time before you know and love these songs as much as we do here in Albuquerque. Let's see. So yeah, Kira Holt is on the episode today. You can look forward to that. I'm dropping this episode at the same time as I'm dropping the Melissa Rios interview episode. So if you haven't checked that one out already, please do. Melissa is another outstanding Albuquerque singer-songwriter. Episodes 1 and 2 are, of course, also available. If you are just joining us to listen to this interview, why not check out episode 1, where you can learn more about me, what I'm all about, what my story is, how I got to Albuquerque, and why I decided to start a music career again in my mid-40s. So that's what that's all about. Episode 2 features the aforementioned Jason and Melissa Kadinger of the duo Mary Dean. They're friends of mine, and they're awesome people. You should check out their episode. They escaped a cult. So tune into that episode to hear that story. All right, what's been going on? I'm recording this again on Wednesday, April 15th, 2020, deep into coronavirus season. Shit is getting realer and realer. Let's see. It's the same day as I recorded the podcast, the Melissa Rios interview. So I may say some things that are redundant. Not a whole lot has changed, that's for sure. What didn't I say? Kira and I, in our conversation today, we do talk a little bit. This is the first episode of the Matt Kollock Show to really get into the mystical psychedelic zone at all in any deeper way. So that's kind of cool. That's definitely going to be a thing that happens in future episodes of the show. Just didn't emerge in the conversations I had prior to to this one, and certainly emerged in the conversation I had with myself in episode 1. Lately, with springtime around here, it's just been gorgeous. The trees are getting green, the skies are getting bluer, the weather's getting warmer. And I've been microdosing, and so I'm just feeling kind of a little bit extra psychedelic these days, and not to mention the fact that this whole coronavirus reality that we're living in now is, it is sure psychedelic. It is really psychedelic. It is revealing the connections we all have with one another like nothing else any of us has experienced. So that's pretty cool. So that plus microdosing plus spring in New Mexico plus the usual amount of cannabis plus just working on music and podcasts all the time. It's a pretty psychedelic scene around here. What else is going on? I'm wearing the blue jumpsuit. I cycle between 2 different Dickies coveralls. I'm wearing the blue one today. I'll probably be wearing the gray one tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. What else is going on? Let's see. In the first episode, speaking of drugs and such, drugs, I failed to mention another reason why prohibition needs to end is that this may be obvious, but it disproportionately affects black and brown people. Me, I'm a white guy. I get to do drugs without any consequences. That's not true for other people, and that's not cool. It shouldn't be that way. Like the one time in my life I was arrested, I was taken into custody. I had pieces on me. I had cannabis on me. And the police officer said, we're not going to do anything with this. You've been through enough and this can ruin your life. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I thank you. But also that can ruin. No, you are ruining my life right now. And also, I doubt you would have done this if I had a different skin tone. So many ugly worms that crawl around when you open up that can. So again, just another reason why prohibition is really, really the dumbest thing. The war on drugs is really, really the dumbest thing. What else? What else is going on here? Spicy foods. I had a note to talk about spicy foods because I eat this breakfast every day. I had it again today. I call it the matito. It's been influenced heavily by my partner, Annie. It would not be possible. It's really her breakfast that I have adapted and mutated over and over and over again. We start with some bacon, and we get some sweet potatoes and regular potatoes going. Some jalapeno. That's the most recent addition to the whole thing. Some minced garlic, some Brussels sprouts, and some kale, and cauliflower rice. And I just chop up the cauliflower until I'm sick of chopping it. That all goes together. We put a couple fried eggs on top, salt and pepper. Paprika really is the key to making it all happen properly. Paprika, the smoked paprika from Trader Joe's is what we use. Then we top it with 2 fried eggs, and it's, my God, I literally eat it almost every day. I could eat it and be completely satisfied every day with it. So that's what I had today for breakfast. And, not going to have that tomorrow because we're out of some of the things. So, what kind of breakfasts have you been having? Spicy food. I didn't eat spicy food before I moved to New Mexico. I was well into my 30s before I was able to tolerate, and now I love spicy foods. That's another thing about me. That's kind of interesting. What else we got? Okay, let's transition into business, and then we'll set up the song and the interview. Guys, my name is Matt Kollock. I hope you're enjoying this podcast. If you want to support me, please visit my website, which is mattkollock.com, MATTKOLLOCK. If you want to support me on a subscription basis, and this is super important for the podcast because this is it is not an inexpensive endeavor to get this thing rolling along. If you really want to love the podcast and you want to support me, that would be amazing. Your listenership really is enough, but if you feel compelled to take it to another level, support me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. That's patreon.com/Matt Kollock. Patrons at I want to talk about the $5 level. That's where you can get exclusive podcast content that you won't be able to hear anywhere else. The interview with Kira Holt, for example, that you're about to hear, has been up on my Patreon for about a week now, and people have been listening to it there at the $5 level. So if you want to get in on some exclusive stuff like that, early access to interviews and things of that nature, support me on Patreon. I sure would appreciate it. Let's see what else. Social media, yeah, follow me on all that. Check out the other podcasts. Check out the blog. I just released Songs from Quarantine number 4. I've been doing this Songs from Quarantine Spotify playlist every week where I kind of pick out the highlights of what I've been listening to that last week and compile them into a playlist for your enjoyment. The one I just released today, in fact, contains my single, the theme from the Matt Kollock Show, this podcast. So check that out. Follow me on Spotify, rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and do all that stuff. Okay, let's get into this song, Turn It Off, by Kira Holt. This is from her debut release, which will be available soon on all the, I just started distributing my music and it's starting to pop up places. She's doing the same thing. So by the time you hear this, it may be available, but this is an exclusive for the Matt Kollock Show. I'm pretty proud of that. We've got 2 exclusive songs from the upcoming Kira Holt acoustic solo release. We're going to start with Turn It Off, and then that's followed by Yellow Skies. So, we're going to play her song. We're going to get into the interview. This interview is really cool. We relate on so many different things. The whole kind of being sort of introverted, but also being a performer. That's becoming sort of a common theme in this podcast. The idea of playing with other people, and some people just get it, other people don't. This is another one where I could have kept the mics on and the tape rolling long after we got done with the interview because we just kept chit-chatting. So I'll be sure to have Kira back on the program once her music is out, and we can talk about how that's going, how she's been handling coronavirus. You're going to love this interview. Please follow Kira on Instagram. That's the best place to keep up to date on what Kira's up to. She is Kira A. Holt. That's Kira Holt on Instagram. That's really the best place to find out what she's up to. Keep searching for her on your streaming platforms. Her music will be out anytime now. But for now, you can listen to this, my exclusive sneak peek at Kira's new release, her new solo acoustic EP. This is a song called Turn It Off. I hope you dig it. Please enjoy the interview, guys. Thanks.
Question and love divine. Like, is it better to stay blind? Seems like everywhere I go, I have to sit with so much of this bullshit life. Is anybody real? Does anybody not have alternatives? And can anybody see through the filter that society has created? Or am I just crazy? Am I the one who's really lost it? Vision, come back down, fall to the earth in perfect rhythm. Now you're lost, heartbeats too fast for you to listen. But that's the cost when turning it off was your decision. I know it's wrong, but it's alright with me. Let's just get lost momentarily, and it won't be long. Just need a second to breathe, as it feels like feels like everywhere I go, I have to sit with someone who's bullshit life. Is anybody real? Does anybody not have automotives? And can anybody see through the filter that society has created? I just crazy? Am I the one who's really lost you? I know it's wrong, but it's alright with me. Let's just get lost momentarily, and it won't be long. Just need a second to breathe. Fall back to the earth in perfect rhythm with me. Yeah. Don't get lost, don't forget why you breathe. Yeah.
Cool. Right. I think we're good with levels. I said I didn't have any prepared questions, but there is one I like to ask guests.
Okay.
What have you been noticing lately? And as an example, for me, lately I've been noticing, and it could be anything, but lately I've been noticing cars are now, I've been seeing more cars with like a glossy finish than like a sparkly finish. It's just something I've been noticing. I've also been noticing myself procrastinating more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can
These
relate
are just
with
some
that one.
things I've been noticing in my life. Anything like that in your life you've been noticing lately?
I've been noticing the color yellow a lot more than usual.
Interesting.
It's popping out. There's a lot of yellow in here.
Yes, there is.
I've been noticing how people's moods are kind of slowly starting to change
Yeah.
with the weather. I can tell that for sure.
Yeah.
A lot less hostility, I guess. Kind of slowly.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, what else have I been noticing? I'm noticing that I'm trying harder.
Trying harder.
That's good.
So you're noticing like more effort?
Yeah, or at least the want to try harder a little
Okay.
bit more than usual. Procrastination's still there.
Yeah.
Isn't it always?
Yeah. Just that feeling of like general resistance
Yeah.
that's always there.
It's really just me that's fighting me.
Yes.
Get over that.
Yeah. So when you're noticing you're trying harder, are there any particular areas?
I just definitely want to. I've been writing more, so
Yeah.
that's really good. And just trying harder to get my album out.
Yeah.
Finally.
Oh,
It's pretty much ready. You know, it's just at that stage where it's like almost there, but it's never
Yeah.
going to be perfect, and I need to just let it go.
Yeah.
But
Oh man, it's such a tough process.
yeah,
It's like
it is.
Is this and I want to dive into this a little bit, the recording, like where you went elsewhere to record over the summer
Yeah,
or something?
I was in
Okay.
Seattle.
Okay.
So one of my bandmates, when we do have a group, he's a guitarist, another vocalist, and he was out in Seattle for a few months for work.
Okay.
And I wanted to record with him
I
because
see.
he hears the music the way I hear my music, which is hard to find, you
Yeah.
know. And he had all of the equipment and everything I needed. And also I just really needed to go somewhere else. I think it was
Yeah.
a mindset thing. To
Yeah.
kind of separate myself from myself and kind of put myself in an uncomfortable position so
Right.
that I'd be more inclined to be creative. And like
Okay.
focus on just that instead of being like all of the other environmental things that come
Yeah.
into wanting to interfere with your life.
All right, all the
But-
day-to-day life
Yeah.
stuff, the errands you have to run and all that shit.
But if
yeah.
you're in a new place and you're there to do one thing, you're more likely to get it done.
Yeah.
So I was there for a couple weeks and that was cool.
Okay. And what is your bandmate's name?
His name's Josh Mays.
Josh
He's
Mays,
also
okay.
a musician in town.
Okay,
They
cool.
have their band is Scarless. They have a
Scarless, okay.
band that they're really good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I remember when we first met Kira, and that was one of the things we related on is like working with other people and
Yeah.
just how difficult it is to
It can
vibe.
be,
and-
for sure. So when I
Yeah.
find my select people that I like to work with, it works.
Yeah.
And I really like that. But it's not very common.
Yeah.
The mindset, really. Because it's my passion. It's like water for
Yeah.
me, you know.
Yeah.
So for other people, it's just like a soda.
Yeah, that's
But
a great way
music
of
is
putting
water,
it.
and hydration's important.
Oh my God, I say that like 5 times a day. That'll probably be on my gravestone.
Yeah.
Hydration is important. But yeah, that's amazing. Especially like you're such like you have a vision clearly about what you want and what you're going for and what that should look like and sound like. And when people just fail to get that, it's like so frustrating.
I have no
right?
patience.
Yeah.
You know, I actually have a song kind of about it.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go back a little bit. Where are you from? We're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico now. Listeners may be scattered all throughout the globe.
Yeah.
They may be listening to this like 100 years from now too.
That's an interesting thing to think about.
So anyway, we're both in Albuquerque. I'm not from here, but here I am. And are you from Albuquerque originally? Are you a New Mexico native?
I came from Tomé, so it's a little ways away from Albuquerque, about 45 minutes. Small town, kind of like Los Lunas, but a little bit further. More cultural, beautiful place for sure. Yeah.
Is that north of here?
Yep.
Okay. I don't think I've ever been up there.
I think north.
Okay. It's somewhere 45 minutes away from Albuquerque or thereabouts. Okay.
Yeah, Tomé.
Okay. And so what was that like growing up there?
Very small, very my high school was all the way out in the middle of nowhere. It's like a good 10-minute drive up this long hill, and there's nothing around for miles. Like the closest gas station was probably 10-15 minutes away.
Wow.
Or or grocery store or anything, you have to kind of drive out of the way.
Yeah.
But it's close to Las Lunas, which had all of the other things, but...
Okay. Cool.
I liked it. Pretty boring. We just had the movie theater.
Yeah, that's
Walmart.
something. Yeah, that's something.
Chili's.
Yeah.
Every holiday, Christmas, birthday, it's like Chili's or Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. Okay.
You get your choice.
And so what attracted you to Albuquerque? Just like the bigger city, more opportunities, stuff like that.
I've been here for like six or 7 years, and I wanted to go to school out here, so thought it'd be easier to live here, and it's more busy. You actually do more things and more opportunities.
Yeah, there's actually stuff happening.
It's actually a city instead of
I mean, that's Annie. My partner lived in New York City for like 8 years, and so she has some ideas about what is and what is not a city. And so Albuquerque doesn't always live up to that, but regardless, like it's kind of its own world. But coming like from a more rural spot, like Albuquerque is definitely the place to be if you're in New Mexico. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you moved here like after high school to come to college? Okay.
Yeah, and I was in college just for a couple, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Just didn't take.
When music's your thing, it's hard. I took all of the music classes, like guitar, voice, all of the like theater, everything that was semi-interesting. Yeah. And it just didn't really stick.
Right.
Maybe I'll go back eventually.
Yeah.
When I, feel like I want to. But.
Yeah. Did you learn, did anything kind of stick with you from those days?
Yeah, definitely. Learning the more classical approach for like guitar and voice and the more structured approach instead of just right brain,
Sure.
That helped a lot, actually. I really enjoyed that. Taught me more.
Okay. Do you mean like just in terms of like song structures?
Yeah.
Or what are some examples of the
like more music theory as
Okay.
opposed to just, creative writing and that kind of thing.
Okay. And you grew up, do you come from a musical family?
Definitely. Yeah. I'm blessed to say that. My dad was in radio. My mom's a music teacher.
Okay.
My grandma, they had a band growing up, my mom and grandma.
Really?
They're
That's
all,
sweet.
it comes, every family gathering, there's a guitar and there's someone playing it. So that's cool.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know the guitar you play now, are you still playing that Ibanez?
I'm trying to eventually buy a new one because she's old, Yeah. It was my mom's guitar and she gave it to me when I was about 14 or 15.
Okay.
It's a 78.
Wow.
Ibanez. I know, she's beautiful. But I don't want to wear her out too much.
Yeah. So, it's a gorgeous guitar. It sounds great. It looks cool with you holding it on stage and all that shit. Yeah,
she's my pride and joy.
Yeah, I get that though. Maybe it's time to just like save it for the studio.
And just keep it for me instead of everyone else.
Cool. So growing up with music, when did you first kind of discover your own creative talents and your own sort of approach and vision for music and art?
Well, it started early. I definitely always kind of knew. I was 2 years old, pulling out all the pots and pans, playing the drums. I'm sure my mom hated that, but she let me do it anyways, So really young. And then I'd always play the piano to the radio, just kind of always. But then I really got into it when I was a little bit older. I played in the talent show in like 3rd grade.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very shy.
Aw.
Very, very shy kid. I didn't even like talk or at restaurants. I didn't order myself, you know.
Oh, man.
But I sang Rockin' Robin in the 3rd grade talent show.
Yeah.
That was the first performance that I ever had, but I kind of always knew, you know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah. It's just inside of you.
Yeah, I'm blessed to say that because it was kind of just always there.
Yeah.
I didn't have to choose what I wanted to do. It kind of chose me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. And to like I my background is sort of similar. Like I kind of always knew I was into music and that's sort of what I should be doing, but my family isn't quite as musical in my immediate family.
It's a little harder to get into.
Yeah, I got a lot of advice growing up saying, no, you take care of your business, you save money, you get a nice job, and then you can work on music.
As a hobby.
Right. And so now I'm like 43 years old and realizing, man, all this work I'm doing now I could have done in my 20s and like maybe I would have done something with it, but you know, whatever.
Everyone's on their own path.
Yeah. I'm just glad to be here and like I get to play music and write songs.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, it's great. So what was the first song you wrote? Can you remember that?
You know,
the first time you created something of your own?
It's funny you ask. I was actually just talking about that last night.
Oh, yeah?
I was looking at the moon and I remembered that the first song that I wrote was about the moon. And I was probably like 5 or 6. And I didn't know it was a song. You know, I was just like blown away by the beauty of the moon, as you know, as always.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what the words were, but I know it was probably from a 6-year-old. It wasn't probably very. Who knows? But
it's not one you're likely to pull out.
Maybe I'll revamp it if I can ever remember any of the words.
Right. I mean, the moon is an awesome subject for a song.
Yeah. I'm very drawn to it for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll write one today.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah. So, okay, songwriting. One of the things I appreciate about your approach to music is like you write songs, but you're also like one of the most innovative like mashup artists I've heard.
I do love to do that.
You are really good at it. It's like
Thank you.
In like combinations of things like that are really inspired. I think, for example, I think you do like a mashup of Survivor by Destiny's Child with Sex and Candy by Mercy Playground.
That's right.
Like that's just one. What are some of the other ones you do, and how did you like develop that style and that approach?
I don't really know how it happened. I think it's mostly because I hear a song and I hear a lot of other songs within them. So I'm like, that would be cool too. Mm-hmm. And usually I like to do it if the themes kind of go together somehow, or if they contradict each other somehow, so they actually work together. Right. But it's really just because I hear songs and other songs, and I like to, respect both of them and put them together. Right. But I do kind of like mixing Red Hot Chili Peppers and Shakira, stuff like that. Just anything that I like to keep people on their toes, Yeah. Because they're like jamming to one song and they're like, wait a second. Right. What is this?
Yeah. And it's like the way it comes across, like sometimes like you're in the middle of a song, it's grooving, and then like it's such a surprise, it's almost shocking to hear you. Like, oh wow, that chord progression is the same as this other song she's singing now. Holy shit.
If it's not, you can make it.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
And it works. Keeps people interested.
Yeah. That's such a cool talent to be able to do that. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And it also extends the length of your set list.
That's right.
By a lot without having to stop a song.
Right. God, that's so
that
smart.
Helps a lot. Just keep them going.
Right. How long have you actually like been performing?
Let's see. Well, probably 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
Probably about 6. Actively, probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like 4 answers in one, but it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
But
there isn't always like a solid starting point. You kind of blend it into your life.
Yeah, because I kind of started in Los Lunas a little bit, like the Luna Mansion. I played there a few times, and then I decided to actually like start making it like a moneymaker, as well as because I wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. What instruments do you play? I know you play guitar and ukulele. Those are the main ones?
I mainly perform with guitar and ukulele. I was in band in school, so I played the flute. I was very into that. And then piccolo, of course, it's just a mini flute.
Yeah.
And then I play mandolin, not well. But I do have one and I love it. And piano. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it. And voice. Voice is an instrument.
Yes, it certainly is. Yeah. Do you find with your singing voice, because singing is like, this last year, one of my main goals was to improve my singing voice and to actually sing properly instead of like having my throat hurt constantly. So do you find that singing comes naturally to you, or is that something you had to kind of learn technique for? What is your journey with singing?
You know, I kind of always just liked to do it by myself. Of course, I never wanted to be a performer. No one ever expected that. But my mom would do voice lessons in the house.
Yeah.
And of course she wanted me to do them, but I would, stubborn. I don't want my mom to teach me. So I would like listen to her teaching students from my bedroom and kind of listen to what she was saying and use it, But then I started to develop my own style with different things that I was listening to, and then it just kind of came about. But
I see.
I've always loved it.
Yeah. And that's what I found. Like singing shouldn't be difficult. It should be like enjoyable.
Yeah,
and
exactly. It is such an amazing feeling, for sure.
Like that's one of the ways I know I'm doing it right is when it's like, oh, this is like effortless.
Yeah, and it feels good.
Yeah.
It comes from somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, it's like the whole channeling thing is happening. Like when I find myself straining or like my neck's getting tightened up or my shoulders, it's like, no, stop, relax.
Yeah.
Let the thing flow through you.
Yeah. I can always tell when I hear a song and I'm like, oh, that'd be a cool cover. That'd be a cool thing to add in a mashup. And I start to do it and it just does not sound the way it's supposed to. It doesn't feel right. And I'm like, dang it, I really wanted to do that, but it's not right. It's not meant to be. So it really depends. I kind of just have to try it and see if it works.
That's also, I think, an impressive skill is that internal editor to be able to say,
it's a feeling. It's really all like a feeling.
Yeah. Because that's so hard to do as a musician sometimes for me personally is like, knowing what ideas are not going to work, like, oh, I wanted to do that so badly.
Yeah,
and then,
just letting it go is hard.
Yeah,
especially when you really wanted it to work. But you can't force.
Yeah.
Can't force it.
Totally. Huh. Okay. So, growing up with music, you arrive in Albuquerque. When you've recorded an album, you have like an album's worth of songs, you'd say? How many songs did you record?
I only recorded like 4.
Oh, okay.
But it's hard because I really like to perfect those 4.
Yeah, okay.
But I could record all of them, but I like to make sure that they're all done well. And also the themes of the songs, it's almost like interior design in my head. They have to work together, and it has to be kind of like cohesive.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have several EPs, who knows?
Right.
Just separate, like 4-song albums.
Yeah. I think that's, like, these days there's, like, all the rules about that shit have gone out the window.
I like
so,
that.
Like, you might
just
as well
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
We're a lot more free.
Right. And that way you get to, like, release music more often and keep people more engaged, I think. And, like, and that might be, like, the better way for you to present your music.
Instead of just a whole album, like, smack it and then people are like, it's a lot to take in. The whole thing.
Okay. So what was the process like of like selecting the material? You were looking at it, you mentioned like interior design. So you're like, what songs kind of go with each other and are kind of conducive to the same vibe? Like, was that a difficult process or did you kind of have an idea?
They all kind of choose each other almost. It's kind of more mindset of where I am mentally in the moment or what stage I am in my life. Some songs just, they come back to you when they're supposed to almost. It's kind of just natural flowing and I just roll with it.
Yeah.
It's not really like a choice process, kind of they choose each other.
Yeah. Okay. Did you go in knowing concretely what songs you wanted to do?
Yeah, I kind of had an idea, but they changed. I had a set plan and plans don't usually work for me, I guess, because it always just does what it wants to. But so I just let it.
Okay, so there was some like stuff happening in the studio creatively, and okay.
And then I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that song anymore. I want to do this song. I'm like, okay, let's just do that.
Yeah, that's cool. And it's cool to be able to like follow that. Yeah,
just listen
and not
to
deny
it.
it.
It's almost like the music talks to me.
Yeah.
I just listen to it.
Yeah,
it's really in charge. I'm not in charge.
Right. So the creative process, like we've talked a little bit about like getting out of the way of it and channeling and like just letting the songs choose themselves. Is that kind of the vibe with you when you're creating something, is to just kind of like let it flow?
Happen. Yeah, you definitely have to be more in balance. So I notice when I'm not really in balance, mentally, emotionally, that it's harder to pick out those things and like actually follow what it's saying. But I think having more structure with it would probably help a lot, you know.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
working on that. But
Do you kind of find yourself just waiting for inspiration to strike, or do you have times where it's like, I'm going to sit down and try to write something?
I try to, and I realize how productive I would be if I was more like that, instead of just all like floating around, you know. Because I've been trying to create more of a basis and like make time to write. And, but most of the time it's just because I get this overwhelming sense, and I know the feeling now is because I need to write. But it's just listening to that, you know. But I'd love to have more structure. It would help. A lot.
It's so hard to do.
Especially when life is so busy, you know. Because then I end up not playing guitar for like a few days, and then I'm like, why do I feel like this? I'm like, why do I feel so overwhelmed? Of course, because I didn't go to therapy, my guitar therapy.
Oh my God, I'm relating so hard to this right now. That's
so if I force myself to do it, because I'm like, I'm tired, I worked all day, I don't want to write right now, I don't feel like. Well, if you just do it, I set a time every day, because you have a time to go to work, you have a schedule at work. It is something that needs more structure.
Right, and you may not always be like inspired to groom.
Exactly, and I'm not, but I have to pay my bills.
Right.
And I have to drink water.
Yes,
you know what I
so
mean?
important to stay hydrated.
So music is hydration. So if I set aside time to do that.
Yeah. It's like there's definitely something to be said for like inspiration and like those times when you just get hit with that spark and like a song flows out of you in 10 minutes.
That's great. Those, I wish I could always be like that, but it's definitely not.
Yeah. And then there are times like songs of mine where it's like I just had to sit down at the desk and like work shit out, you know, like solve problems. And it's like those songs at the end of the day, I don't think they're like, you can tell the difference between them. Like I feel proud of them all, but it's like, it's interesting how
they all come from a different place.
Yeah. and sometimes you really do just have to sit down and like force it out of yourself.
And if it feels right, but I know that creating schedules for things helps in all areas of your life. So I would be a lot more productive if I just did that. So I'm really working on that right now.
I'm still like trying to integrate the calendar into my life.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's the calendars. That's a topic. I cannot do calendar. I try. I really try.
Listeners, right now, Kira Holt is sitting in front of a giant 2020 yearly calendar that my partner has on the wall. How symbolic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Annie is a person who's like, she's different from like people like you and me. She's all about the calendar, all about the spreadsheets.
Helps.
Like that's part of the reason we make such a good partnership, because she supplies that half and and like we meet in the middle in so many ways. But
that's perfect.
Yeah. And so being with her has definitely helped me with like that kind of like scheduling, calendar, like prioritizing.
It's much more beneficial for everyone.
Yeah.
I've always tried. Maybe someday I'll be better at it.
Yeah. I think what I found is it's more about like just making the effort than it is about like actually sticking to the calendar.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like this week, for example, I've been like, I had a lot of stuff scheduled out on the calendar and like, okay, I can do this. And it's all gone to shit, of course, like it always does. But I feel like I've gotten more done doing that than I would have if I hadn't attempted the calendar in the first place. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's so weird being an artist and a musician.
It's really trying to always find the balance between left and right brain.
Yes, totally.
And I got a good mix of both of those for sure.
So you mentioned like staying balanced as a way to keep yourself in a good spot creatively. What are some of the practices and tools you have for staying balanced?
Definitely making music, writing. It's really important for me to stay balanced. Also, listening to myself.
Just keeping steady, keeping up the practice.
Keeping a consistent, obviously, sleep schedule, which is not easy, you know. Art, I like to just do anything that's creative. If I'm not doing anything creative, I get this overwhelming like anxiety that I just can't handle. I'm just like, I need to do something with my hands. I need to draw, write something. I need to create something. No matter what it is, I need to create, and that really keeps me balanced.
Yeah. So creation, sleep, like exercise. Do you have an exercise routine?
I mean, right now, you know, I'm kind of slacking a little bit.
Aren't we all?
It's hard to keep up with. It does keep me balanced, though, emotionally.
For sure.
So I should, yoga, helps a lot. I really like that. Yeah. But I don't do it consistently enough anymore. But it does help.
Yeah.
It does help.
Yeah, all that stuff is actually really important, I've learned.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah. Just like, getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, like eating properly,
Yeah.
like trying to play music and like channel the divine is so hard when you're like, your belly is full of Cheetos. And
Exactly.
beer,
You're a vessel. There's those are blockages.
Yeah. Who are some of your influences, you would say, musically, like and like going back through the years, like who really inspired you when you were young, and like who's inspiring you now?
It's always so broad, you
Yeah.
know. I gain inspiration from so many different artists and beautiful, amazing musicians. But I'd say definitely my mom and my grandma. They've always inspired me a lot. When I was younger, I really enjoyed listening to Mumford & Sons. I'm not as into the genre anymore. I still love them, but their lyrical process and just everything that they are was very inspirational for me growing up. And then of course my dad always loved music. He made sure we were very cultured on that. So like The Doors and you know, all of those.
Right.
Amazing.
Your dad, you said, was in radio? Okay, was he a disc jockey or a program director or something? Disc jockey, okay.
His name was Captain Mozo.
All right. Cool. Did he do like the morning drive or something? What was his...
I'm not even sure.
No? Okay.
It's hard to say. He kind of just... He was very well known, I know that much.
Okay.
And I have a few old tapes
Oh, yeah.
that who knows what he's talking about, but it's fun and interesting to listen to.
So he was like hip to music and like turned you on to stuff
He
that
loved,
you
and
probably wouldn't have.
Queen, he's a very big fan. So he made sure that we were, cultured in all of the musical.
So for somebody who grew up in the era when you grew up, you probably have different influences than many of the people who would be your peers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They definitely made sure we had a good backing.
Yeah.
Of some sort, which is really important in parenting, I think.
Yeah.
Give us choices of things to listen to.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah, especially if you're kind of growing up in a more rural area and like you don't have quite as much exposure to like different stuff. It's cool to have those portals open for stuff to enter your life.
My mom would always play, like Garth Brooks, those kind of stuff like that. My dad, when we'd go to his house, was more, he'd be like, all right, let's get you that rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's good.
Cool. What have you been listening to these days? Like, who are some of the artists that you've really been listening to a lot?
Right now, who am I listening to? I really float back and forth between kind of, depending on the mood. Been liking a few different kind of heavy metal bands. I don't know, surprisingly. They get me going,
Yeah.
And
what are some examples of the metal bands?
Right now I'm really liking this band Fire from the Gods.
Okay.
They're I just like what they sing about, what they talk about. But not always the mood, sometimes, because I listen to a lot of like more soul R&B music too as well. Some pop, got some pop in there, just rock and roll. But there's so many different, what is his name? Bruno Major. He's kind of R&B-ish. I really like him. So those are two right now that I'm. Lake Street Dive.
Lake Street Dive. Yes.
Right now, I don't know what it is, but I just can't stop listening to their music. It's really speaking to me.
Yeah. That I can't think of the lead singer's name, but she is like.
I can't even believe the things that she does with her voice. Yeah. She's really inspirational.
Yeah. I feel like goosebumps every time. It's fantastic.
So it really depends on the mood, but I like all those genres right now.
That's cool, and I feel like all that kind of comes out in your music.
Yeah,
like it's all present there. Maybe not the metal so much.
Yeah, not yet.
I haven't seen you play in a while, so maybe that's coming.
I had got an electric guitar, so maybe we'll amp it up a little bit.
Nice. Get your distortion pedals. Yeah.
Maybe. Not quite.
Yeah. Have you practiced your septic growl?
I don't think I could do that very well.
No.
I'm sure I could if I really wanted to.
If you practiced, I bet you could.
Yeah. I probably couldn't perform it, but to listen to, for sure.
Yeah. Now, for balance, one of the things like I do, it's very important to me, is a spiritual meditation practice. Like I had a major like spiritual awakening several years ago that really changed my life, and so now I meditate every day. And
nice.
Is there anything like that in your life? Like, what is your relationship with like mystical, spiritual type of stuff? Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I have some witchy blood in there.
Is that right?
I'm sure there's got to be some somewhere down the line, right?
Yeah.
But I'm very into that, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that we're just here and there's more divine than we really know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of speaking through us if you let it. Mm-hmm. But it's in control. So if you really kind of hone into that and listen, then it'll flow through you and create magic for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. Did you grow up with like any religion or spirituality in your life?
My mom was Christian.
Yeah.
My dad was just, whatever he felt like at the
Yeah.
moment. He was kind of all over the place.
Was he like kind of a searcher in that way, or
Kind of. He's more of like he's both. It's hard
Yeah.
to say. He's a Gemini. I don't know if that.
Okay.
I am too. So
Okay.
we're very similar in that sense because he has the very logic left brain, but also like the right brain, creative. So he's very Republican. So he was.
Is that right?
But he was also, into Queen. So
Right,
it's
right.
hard to say.
Yeah,
Not that
yeah.
you can't be, but he was definitely both. But my mom was Christian.
Okay.
So she kind of.
Did you go to church and stuff? When
Yeah,
you were
she
little?
would take us to church.
Yeah.
And my grandmas, they're all very Christian, very
Yeah.
God-based.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. I think they're all religions have their own.
Right.
They all have they're all valid points.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
Like, and so much of it, it's like they're all kind of talking about the same
It's
thing,
the
just
same.
using
It's
different
the same
words.
shit. All of it's the same.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is.
Right.
Just a different name.
Yeah, I mean that's like since like I used to be such like an angry atheist type person, like before my spiritual awakening, and then like almost overnight it changed through the use of magic mushrooms as
Yeah.
it happens. But,
They
that's-
can do that.
yes. So yeah, and like overnight it changed, and it's like, oh yeah, all the like Jesus is cool, Buddha's cool,
Yeah,
like Muhammad's cool,
they're all
like
great people. and
Yeah,
great
yeah.
people to live by.
right, and they're all like telling us the same message. They're just
Yeah.
using the language of whatever culture they happen to
Which
be
is
into.
beautiful. I don't think any of them are wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's a few but I think that's more man-made that comes into play when it's
Yeah.
like a little bit questionable, But
yeah, like when human beings start to use the religion for their own agenda and their own.
that'll happen.
Yeah.
We're humans. We want things to be our own when they're not ours.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
People like control,
Yeah. So what do you have any like spiritual practices? Do you meditate, like into crystals or anything like that?
I do love crystals.
Yeah.
I have some, and I do just some like personal tarot stuff.
Yeah?
Just reading. I don't ever talk much about it because people are so skeptical, and I don't want to deal with it. It's not It's not their business,
Right.
But I do find guidance through those things for sure. And the moon, of course.
Yes. The moon.
In the moon.
What is it? So Gemini is your sun sign?
Yeah.
You said you know your moon and your rising.
Yeah,
your
my moon
ascendant?
is a Taurus.
Ah.
My dad was also Gemini Taurus.
Okay. That's fascinating.
And my rising's Gemini.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of Gemini.
Wow. I can feel it.
Yeah. I call it sugar and spice.
Oh, yeah,
Two
yeah.
sides.
Oh, that's fun. Huh. It's interesting. Like Annie and I have been like getting more into astrology lately. Have you heard of Chani Nicholas, the
No.
author? She's got a book. It's probably around here somewhere. Anyway, she writes about astrology from a more modern, inclusive perspective. And it's really great. And I just learned I've known all along my sun sign is Libra, but I learned my moon is in Aquarius and my
cool.
ascendant is Leo,
Oh,
which
cool.
makes tons of sense being like a more of an introverted person, and yet I still want to get on stage
Yeah.
and perform for people.
Because you're rising, is how others view you and like how you outwardly portray yourself.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. It's such fascinating
I'm
stuff.
so into that. Anything
Yeah.
that kind of gives sense of self, I'm really into.
Yeah. Have you done like the Myers-Briggs test?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What are you? Do you know your letters?
I think it's probably because I'm Gemini,
Yeah.
but I always get a 50-50. I'll take it one time and get an INFP, and then I'll take it again and get an ENFP. Introverted, extroverted. I'm right in the middle, 50-50.
Wow. That's amazing. That is
Every time
exactly...
I've taken it like 6 times.
Wow. That's exactly how it happens with me.
Really?
Yeah. Especially like when I was in my 20s, like the EI, it was like 50-50
Yeah, always.
exactly every single time. As I got older, it started shading more toward the I. And like nowadays, it's like I'm definitely an I. But there's sometimes like I take the test occasionally and like, oh, I'm an E today.
Yeah. Sometimes you feel when it's like a performance day, gotta be an E.
Yeah. And there's like, Yeah, I love this stuff too, as you may be able to tell. And it's like there's so much skepticism about it, and it's like I know what you mean. It's like you can't just talk about it to anybody,
everybody,
because they're like too sciencey brained
or
like,
they're just not there. They're not connected.
Right. And that's fine.
That's fine. I don't expect them to be. But I just, I keep it to myself unless I get into a situation where I can talk about it, which I love. So
yeah, good.
That's cool.
Yes. You can always come on the Matt Kollock Show podcast to talk that stuff. Okay. Cool. So yeah, if you happen to come on again, be prepared with your spiritual astrological insights.
All right. Hell yeah. All about it.
What about, have you done like the Enneagram or anything else like that?
I'm sure. I think I did. I don't remember it all, but I just love personality tests. Like I said, anything that gives sense of self is super intriguing. Yeah.
And like, God, self-awareness is so important.
Yeah.
It's like almost as important as hydration, I would say.
It's probably definitely equal.
Yeah.
It's gotta be, because that's what makes movement.
Right. Okay. So what, you recorded these songs over the summer?
You went up. I don't remember. September. Okay. So when can we expect to see Kira Holt's music out in the world?
I
want it out, and it's really hard to keep up with everything.
Where are you at in the process now?
They're mostly done. Mm-hmm. I have to retrack vocals for one of the songs. But they're done. It's pretty much done. It's really hard because this will be my first album that I actually finally show people, other than just performing around town for years. Mm-hmm. So anyone that sees me perform, they know what I have to offer. Yeah. But it's kind of just like being naked in front of the whole world, because it's my music and it's everything that I hold it so dear. And I know it's just a song, but they're very important to me. So hopefully soon. I'll set it by the end of February.
Okay. That's very exciting.
End of February.
Yeah. Okay.
Myself.
Okay. What you recorded? These are with your band or with other musicians?
This one's actually just all me.
Oh, it's just all you. Okay.
We were gonna add some kind of other, percussion, other sounds, but I think it needs to just be raw. Okay. So it's just guitar and vocals.
Just guitar and vocals.
Just an acoustic album.
Okay. Did you like multi-track guitars, or is it just like one guitar, one voice?
Some songs we kind of, but it's mostly just one for everything, just bare minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only one that we did was one song we kind of double panned the guitar.
Okay.
With different tracks
just
of the
to kind
same
of make
sound.
It wider.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a song for that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And your vocals, did you do any like double tracking or harmony or anything?
No, I was
like
going
that?
to. I really wanted to, but for some reason I didn't feel like I should.
Yeah.
Not yet. Because I can repurpose all of those songs later if I wanted to, but that's I think that just the bare core of them needs to be heard first. Because that's kind of the meaning of the songs anyways.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I love that. That's an idea I keep coming back to too with my songs. Like since I've been like performing them just me and my guitar, like I feel like I should document that somehow, but it's like, God, it's so hard to take it from the performance stage into my house where I want to get a good take in the middle of the afternoon when, it's like
it's a lot.
A weekday or whatever.
Yeah, it's just finally letting it go. That's the big one.
Yeah.
And not tweaking one little blip in the voice. Like it should just be natural and raw. Yeah. So I should just do it.
Yeah. And like some of those things that are mistakes are like, those are the things that add character to the recording.
And like, if you see it as an imperfection, it could actually give it so much more meaning and depth because of the meaning of the songs. You know? They're not meant to be perfect.
Yeah. I agree completely. It reminds me, like, sometimes I'm more impressed when somebody, like, attempts to go for something and fails than if they, like, just don't attempt to do anything special at all.
That's true.
Or even if they attempt it and pull it off. It's like, that's not as impressive as, like, an epic fail or, like, I'm going to try to do this lick on the guitar between whatever.
It makes it more human.
Right. Yeah. And it's, like, so much more relatable. Like, oh, yeah, I do that, too. I try to do all this stuff with music, too. So what, all right, music possibly coming out this month.
Yes.
What else is going on in the world of Kira Holt? Do you have a website or anything like that? Or
soon.
Like, you're kind of just getting started with all this, huh?
Yeah, well, I go through phases where I'm really into it and really trying. Social media is really hard for me. I don't know if it was because I'm not born in this generation or something. Who knows? It's just so weird to me that we have to But it's very important in
Yeah.
today's day and age to make a presence.
Yeah.
So I know that that's important in order to move to the next step. So I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Website, more active on, all of the things.
When you think about like that side of the music stuff, like the business side and the social media and the marketing and like all that, how does that make you feel?
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it. If I had enough money, I'd probably just hire someone to do it for
Yeah.
me eventually. Because some people have talent there. I just want to show up and make the music, Show up and sing and leave.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel too. Like I recently just kind of eliminated Facebook from my life.
Yeah.
I still post there if I've written a blog post or whatever, but I post using a third-party app where I can post to Twitter at the same time.
Oh,
and,
cool.
like I just found myself like not enjoying life because I was on social media so much.
Yeah, and it's hard to find because it's necessary and it has to be used in order to progress with
Yeah.
your music career. But it's also can be so just like overbearing and dark.
Yeah.
know? And it's when you have creative minds like us, it can be really hard to find the balance between
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah. And it's, one of the things I've been trying to do anyway is like using social media as more of a creative outlet and not like trying to market myself so much.
And that's hard too. It's hard to find the middle ground.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I be as productive as possible on social media without getting lost in it?
Yeah.
It's like a giant ocean.
Right.
You just go out there with a boat and hope for the best. But
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. Yeah. So I've been off Facebook, sticking to Twitter and Instagram and just kind of posting when I feel like it versus like, oh, I have to promote this or that or whatever. So, yeah.
It's so expected of me, I see people, I run into people, they're like, I haven't seen you post. And I'm like, I know, and my generation is so, they're so like demanding of it, they all, the way they socialize is social media. Nobody just goes and gets lunch hardly ever anymore,
Yeah.
Or just hangs out. It's all like, oh, I wonder what she's doing. She's not posting, but nobody asks, They just expect to look on your social media.
Yeah.
So
It's frustrating.
it's very demanding.
Yeah,
my
it is, it
generation.
is.
They're just...
And it's like you don't exist if you aren't broadcasting on social
And
media.
people forget about you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, that one girl that does that music. What's she, So you have to keep yourself relevant
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to prove my relevance,
Right.
Can I just make my music and have people like it?
Yes. Amen. Yeah. It sucks having to do all that stuff. Like, I wish like it would just be like, I remember the days I've been talking to people about this a lot, like complaining about how in the old days, listen to me, get off my lawn, all that. In the old days, like we used to have websites and we would go to like people's websites and everybody would have their own like cool thing going on. And now it's like everybody's just on Facebook and
There's
like
Instagram.
And like you have corporations like curating the entire internet for you.
It's all algorithm based too, so it's harder. It's all controlled.
Right.
I don't do well with control.
Yeah. Oh man, I hear you. Like I definitely want to hire somebody to just
That would
take
be
care of that
great.
stuff.
Ideally, music manager.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Absolutely.
If anyone's out there listening, looking for a manager.
Right. Somebody who can take us both on, ideally.
Yeah, that'd be great. Book gigs for me.
Right.
Show, like, I'll just show up and sing.
And like somebody who actually gets the music, who gets the art and knows how to market
it's like
you.
collaborating with other musicians.
Totally.
They have to know what your goal is and what place you're coming from.
Yeah.
They'll not take advantage of it and try and make you something you're not. They really have to get it. So that's going to be hard too, but in the future.
Yeah, for sure. It'll happen. So what do you think happens after we die?
Hey, swoop. I don't know.
Sing!
Maybe we're born again.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to say. Reincarnation's probably a thing, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we do that. I think maybe depending on how you live your life and the choices you make changes the outcome.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to believe that we all go to the same place or one of two places, Or do we go anywhere?
Right.
Is it just an abyss? That's boring to think, and
It is.
sad.
Right. And it doesn't seem like all the evidence, like everything we see around us, just it seems to me like like the meaning of life is about creation and constant like rebirth and reinvention.
Everything.
And, like, it seems to me like that's evidence that what happens after we die must be something like that too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, right?
Maybe the essence of our soul is just dispersed into all of the different things, like clouds and trees and all of other areas of nature. Maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of how I like to think of it too. Like one of us is just a wave, and then when we die, we just crash back into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, we just become
everything.
The everything. Yeah. Have you had any like drug-induced or not mystical experiences where
absolutely.
Yeah.
Drug-induced and not.
Yes. Yeah. Same.
For sure.
Yeah.
Some really interesting experiences.
Yeah.
Not that of course, I medically smoke weed, and I love it. It's the best.
Yes. I just got my card in November for the first time.
I need to renew mine.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while. But that's always been something that's helped me.
Yeah.
And it can be recreational, but for my mind, I've realized it really helps keep everything centered.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah. Totally. It's like, I use cannabis like pretty regularly
important.
myself. Yeah. Especially for a creative person. Like, I feel like people don't really understand like the relationship.
I'm sure it's just the stigma. The stigma will always be there somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't really have patience to fight the stigma.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, and people can do what they're going to do.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, everybody's on drugs. Everybody's using some kind of drug, right?
Yeah, right? So it might as well be something, I mean, if it's helping you, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You do you. I'm going to do me over here.
Yeah. Totally. So, like, especially, like, for, like, opening up to, like, the universe and, like, ideas and getting out of your own head, like, using cannabis, like, God, that's so important. And, like, finding sort of it helps with, like, getting into a groove.
It definitely
like,
does.
I
feel like for me, it's almost like just the pressure of society, expectations, some social media, it kind of creates like a veil in front of your eyes. So when you're able to recenter yourself in any way, like smoking cannabis, it helps kind of just lift that veil so you can actually see again.
Yeah.
And all psychedelics, I feel like, do that for sure.
Yeah.
They kind of just open your eyes again. Just removes the lens,
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I have a regular psychedelic practice with mushrooms too.
Cool.
Yeah. And
that would be nice. I think it would help me.
Yeah.
Because microdosing, I was doing that for like a week.
Oh yeah.
Like a couple days on, a couple days off.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, not enough to get any psychoactive
Exactly.
effects, so I can still work, I can still do all my things. But it just really helps brighten everything.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I see yellow more right now.
I bet that has something to do with it. I bet it does. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing I do too, is the microdosing, and it's just like a little
just enough
boost. Yeah.
Serotonin enhancer. Just kind of help.
Yeah, and it's like sub-perceptual, which is like how a microdose should be. Like, you shouldn't be all tripping out or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that all the time.
Right, totally. Like, it's not the right time or place for that most of the time. Yeah. Like, I had like a major experience like about a month ago where I like went really deep and kept myself in darkness in the bed and like worked through so much shit and sweated so much stuff out, and like, God, I can't imagine like doing what I'm doing without that kind of practice in my life. I
can see the importance.
Yeah, and it's really it's all about connecting with the one and like dropping all those fears. And, like, what are some of your biggest fears in life, would you say? Like,
myself.
Your fear.
Myself is my biggst fear, for sure. I'm the only person that really has a say, so if I'm not doing it, it's my fault. So it's really just me that's holding me back. I'm my biggest fear, for sure.
Yeah.
I also really don't like, I don't know why this scares me so much, but falling into like ice, like like a lake, frozen over lake or something, falling in a hole and like not being able to get out. That thought freaks me out more than anything. I don't know what it is.
That is awfully
like, you're
terrifying.
looking for the hole and like, and
you're just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I feel like I can definitely make myself feel like that too. So it's probably the same fear.
Right. Are you able to kind of forgive yourself and be gentle with yourself?
Yeah, it's important too.
Yeah.
But it's not easy all the time. That's why meditation and kind of like doing the little things like creating, recentering yourself in any way that you can helps.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not, you're doing your best kind of. And when you're not, like, try harder.
Yeah.
What's your biggest fear?
Oh my gosh. I have this theory that all fears are just like children of one big fear, and the big fear is the fear of death.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every fear really comes from the fear of death. And so, like, it's just the fear of death. But, like, my spiritual practice kind of helps me not be afraid of dying.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be, the way I describe it is I used to be, I wanted to die. I didn't want to live anymore, but I was afraid to die. Now it's like, I want to live and I'm not afraid to die.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
You know? So, like, yeah. But to answer the question more directly, it's myself too. Like, can I actually make myself do the things I need to do to, like, achieve the goals I have for myself?
Fear
like,
of failure.
Right. Yeah. And I fear like, man, I'm working on this album and putting out this music soon, and like, what if people are like, whatever. Or,
yeah.
You know?
It's just letting that go, because it literally does not fucking matter at all. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's not for them. It's for the people that are gonna hear it and listen. The one person that it could change forever is enough for me.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's about like the process of just doing it, like, without thinking about what the end result ought to be.
Because it's necessary. It's drinking water for us. And it's beyond us. It's a divine, like, almost expectation from some higher sense. Like, we need to do this because it's our gift. And we were given it to share. So it's not about anyone. Or ourselves, really.
Yeah.
It's just about what will come from it. Baby steps, you know.
Amen. Good shit, Kira Holt. Good shit.
Yeah, good shit.
Fun stuff. So where can people find you and learn more about your music and what you have going on in your life?
I'd probably say I try to keep it to one platform because it's so hard for me. So Instagram's usually the best way.
Okay.
Kira A. Holt. It's not A. Hole. Don't get it confused. A. Holt, my last name. My middle name's Arteaga, so Kira A. Holt.
Ah, okay.
Instagram.
So KIRAAHOLT.
That's it.
Okay, okay.
And I'm kind of just going to try and keep it consistently on all platforms with that. Or just Kira Holt, you know, Kira Holt Music.
Okay, so if somebody goes to Google and types in Kira Holt, they're likely to
find something.
Yeah.
Who knows? Actually, I've never Googled myself.
No?
Maybe I should try.
No, don't you ever do that, Kira. All right, anything else?
Just, I don't know. Mutual love to everybody.
Amen. Yes.
We're all fighting for the same cause.
Yes.
Just stay focused. Help each other.
Yes. Words to live by from Kira Holt, everybody.
Thank you. Therapy with me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you, Kira.
Fun.
This was great. All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You see the world laid down black and white. Well, I prefer technically. You can't stand when you're not right. Being wrong is human nature still. You bitch about the weather and everything in between, but to be honest, it's been a while since I just stopped listening. No matter what I say, you hide the negativity. That's not me. You say, look at the sky, it's clearly blue. If I want to see yellow, what could you do? You could tell me I'm wrong, or you could continue to fight. I'll probably still see yellow by the end of the night. Should I keep my mouth shut and let you believe what you believe? 'Cause the truth is, with your eyes I'll never see, and I won't fight. You can be mad all you like, but I'll be happy underneath my yellow sky. the truth is, with your eyes I'll never see it. I won't fight. You can be mad all you like, but I'll be happy underneath my yellow skies.
Wow, that was beautiful, wasn't it? That was Yellow Skies by Kira Holt. And prior to that was my interview with Kira Holt. I don't know if I mentioned this. The interview was conducted back in February, early February. Things have changed quite a bit since then, have they? But boy, Kira's message at the end of the podcast, we're all in this together, love, support each other. She knows some things. She knows some things. I think I know some things too, but she definitely knows some things. Boy, I sure hope you enjoyed the interview with Kira Holt. Again, follow her on Instagram. She is Kira A. Holt on Instagram. That's at KiraAHolt. You guys, this has been great. Thank you again for tuning in. Please listen to the other episodes. If you dug what happened on this episode, I'm sure you'll like what's happening on the others. Support me by going to my website, mattkollock.com. That's MattKollock.com. There you can sign up for my email list. Be sure to stay up to date on all the stuff that's happening in this world. What else? Check out the blog over there. Check out the songs from Quarantine number 4. Let's see. Support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Matt Kollock. There's cool stuff available over there for subscribers. And I guess that's all I got. I have no idea what the next episode is going to be all about. Probably just me on the mic chit-chatting with you. Hopefully we get some listener mail and correspondence coming in. That would be great. That would help me fill an episode. So if you want to contribute to that cause, send me an email. I am matt@mattkollock.com. All right. Listen to me on Spotify. Follow me. Do all that stuff you're supposed to do. Rate and review the episode on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And tell all your friends. Okay. Let's see. I guess that's truly all I have. I've rambled for too long. Friends, I love you. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time here on the Matt Kollock Show. Bye-bye.